Neil, thanks for joining us. Obviously, a week away from the World Cup now. The your swan song, your final tournament with the team. First of all, just how does it feel that you finally at this week?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I, I thought about it in the beginning of the season, and you still feel like you were, or beginning of the year, and you knew that it was still 9 months ago, or 9 months to go to get to this point where we are now, and all of a sudden we're here. So it is a bit of a shock. I think it's obviously it will be an emotional week, but again, I think a week that we can't make about me and my career and the fact that I'm leaving the system after this weekend. So it will be all about the team and what we want to achieve in this week. And yeah, but it's amazing to know that 9 years is gone, and that this is the last week of a 9 year coaching career. But had an amazing 9 years. Obviously, a lot of ups and a lot of some downs as well. But for most of it, it was definitely more ups than downs, and it was an amazing 9 years.
The last time we spoke was just before LA. You just got back from the Commonwealth Games. LA didn't turn out quite the way you wanted it to, and obviously the World Series was, well, you guys lost it and almost got it back with some of the results going back your way, but at the end of the day it was lost. I know you were disappointed. I saw your quotes after the time. I suppose the only real thing I want to really ask about that is, other than being a disappointment, I suppose it is a bit of a worry, just in that with the injuries you had, there was a bunch of guys who probably have to take this team forward in the next couple of years, that played and maybe didn't perform as well as you'd hoped they would. So is that a worry going forward?
Yeah, not really. I think again, going to LA, we only had one fly-off in that team, and when that fly-off got injured in the first 7 minutes of the tournament against America, in that first half, I knew it's going to be difficult. We then had a center at fly-off, and again, that's your playmaker role. That's the guy that controlled the game for you, and I knew it's going to be a difficult weekend for us when we lost Devil Team that early. So. Yeah, and again, I think yes, there was guys that there's guys that's probably going to stay here and have to take this team forward, but also a difficult week in just in the whole build up as well. I think the jet lag really got to the guys. And even in the training sessions, although the guys really pushed hard and the effort was there, you could see that there was something lacking in that preparation. So a bit of energy, and I think it's due to the travel fatigue. But again, it was the same for most of the team. So disappointing if we talk about our standards and the standards that we set for ourselves. Definitely not the way that we wanted to end the World Series. But for me as well, we basically lost that World Series in the quarterfinals against Australia back in London when we were 17-0 up and then lost that game. If we won that game, we would have won the World Series. So that for me was actually the place where we lost the World Series. And yeah, I think again, and I shouldn't say it, but I think the fact that we didn't do well will probably be more of a motivation for us leading into this World Cup than if we won a world series title, and if we've played well at LA. So we'll definitely use that disappointment as a means of motivation for us to hopefully do better in the World Cup.
With that, I mean, you've obviously got Selvin and Ronald back. I mean, they bring a lot of energy to the team. That must be quite a boost as well.
Yeah, again, it's those playmaker roles, guys that can make a step up when you want them to make a step up, and that can create opportunities for you. And I think between the two of you, between the two of them, there's definitely a few tries that they will create for you in a game. So it's great to have those two playmakers back, and then also the likes of a Cecil Afrika that used to be that for us in the past as a playmaker. I know a lot of people think he haven't played sevens in so long, but he actually played this last 3 weekends in that French top 14 sevens competition that they have, and their team, which is Monaco, played in all three finals, won two and lost one. So and I think if it wasn't for that if the fact that he played in those three tournaments, it would have been difficult for me then to select somebody like him, knowing that he haven't played in a while. So but I think the three tournaments that he played over the last 3 weekends will probably get him in a good place where he's got sevens fitness again, got back into his sevens habits, and I think he's still the sharp Cecil Afrika from some of the clips that I've seen, and I think a guy like Selvin that's playing fly fast now, but his normal position is sweeper, is definitely going to benefit a lot from a guy like Cecil and the fact that he's in the squad. So I think for us, Cecil is not just for on-field playing, but I think he can contribute a lot from off the field as well in terms of his knowledge and especially his knowledge in that 10 position.
Yeah, I was going to come to him. He was going to be the next guy I was going to ask you about anyway. I mean, because that was a bit of a curveball. I must admit, it wasn't. I didn't expect him to be selected. I also thought I was one of the guys who thought his career with the Blitzboks might be finished. But yeah, as you say, he's got immense knowledge, and as we've seen, I mean, guys like that, if they just hit a patch of form, that experience, they seem to have extra time on the ball, extra little touches that make a difference. And yeah, sometimes I suppose in those big games, that's what you need. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I did speak to Cecil before the Commonwealth Games, even said to him, listen, if we are thin in a 10 position, if we do pick up injuries, there's a good chance that we will pull him into the system. And I think Cecil, again, he's played 15s over the last 2 years, and then he played sevens the last 3 weekends. So yeah, he's definitely a quality player, and again, we're probably not going to start him. He's going to play off the bench, but we needed to make sure that if we pick up an injury on Selvin or Ronald, we needed a starting fly off, and that is Cecil for us. So if there's no injuries, he'll probably play for us off the bench. But if there's an injury on Selvin or Ronald, he will probably be the guy that will be starting. So we'll move Selvin back to sweeper, get Cecil into the 10 if Ronald gets injury, and then obviously if Selvin gets injured, it's just a straight swap Selvin, Cecil for Selvin.
Just on LA, I mean, last time we spoke also about teams tactics and things like that. Did you pick up anything that you can share? I mean, I don't expect you to share your IP too much, but anything that you picked up from the other teams that you think might be a threat in Cape Town?
Yeah, I think again a game changer for us is going to be the breakdowns. You could see how the opposition teams, even that first game against America, they targeted our attacking breakdown. So where they tried to slow up our ball position or then turn us over at the breakdown, because they know if they give us quick ball and we can push the intensity, they can't keep up. So that's definitely a tactic that we know most of the teams will use. We know America is definitely one of the teams that will use that tactic. And then New Zealand is the other team that will always contest our breakdown. So it's no surprises. What's frustrating is that they sometimes still get it right to either disrupt our breakdowns or slow our ball down. And again, it's something that we will obviously focus massively on going into this once-off tournament. Yeah, it's a killer of a tournament where it's a straight knockout, so there's no second chances. If you don't pitch up every single game, you will be out of the competition.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it must be a very different sort of mindset that you go into the tournament with, because usually you just have to get out your pool first, and then you start concentrating on day two, and yeah, and then so to have that sort of pressure from the beginning. It's going to be interesting to see how some of the teams handle that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, like you said, even the Commonwealth Games, that's a once-off tournament. I mean, you got a pool stage where you can almost try and get your momentum and flow in that pool stage. If you lose one game, you can still make it to a quarterfinal. But yeah, there's no second chances. If you don't pitch up and you don't do well from the get-go, then you can find yourself in trouble.
And you might have to face one of your ex-players in the first round, in the round of 16, should I say?
Yeah. Again, it's great to see Philip Snyman go on and do a bit of coaching. I think he obviously has done well with Germany. Unfortunately, they couldn't qualify for the World Series in that Challenger competition. So yeah, I think they lost to Uruguay in the semi-finals. But yeah, it's great to see the old South African sevens player go on and become coaches and actually do really well. So we already had a good conversation, myself and Philip. So he's obviously assured me that he will not give any line-out calls away to the Germans or anything. But yes, they will obviously come out and support, come out firing against us and see if they can have a good match against us. So let's see how it goes. And again, sevens is a strange game where the bounce of the ball can go anyway, and all of a sudden you're 7-0 down and they get their tails up. So like I said, I think it's a it's a tournament where you got to be out of the blocks from that first game, and hopefully that will be us playing against either Germany or Chile, whichever one wins that first game.
And then lastly from me, I mean, you've had a number of Cape Town Sevens in the past. You know the venue well, you know the preparation well, you know the pressure that's going to be on your team well as well. Just how do you handle that pressure? And then secondly, I know September's a weird time in Cape Town, and I'm up country. It's normally a nice weather up here, but it's also a time there's quite a lot of rain in Cape Town, so you might face some interesting weather during the tournament. Have you guys had a look at that, and how do you handle the pressure?
Yeah, I think we'll obviously have a look at the weather closer to the tournament because it can change. It is actually cold and windy today, so I have still jackets on when we went out this morning. So yeah, Cape Town can be different in September. You can get your day of rain or a day of sunshine, or probably both in one day. So, but we do have a game plan that we can adjust to if it starts raining. We know exactly what we want and need to do when it starts raining. So yeah, we'll be happy. I think in terms of the pressure, there's always going to be pressure, and I think the main message for the players was that this is actually a special tournament that only happens once in a lifetime, and we almost need to get excited about it, not nervous about it. It's a great opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to play a World Cup in South Africa. And it's probably not going to happen again. Well, not in my lifetime. It's going to happen again. So, and I think it brings a lot of memories back from the '95 World Cup, where I was 17 years old, and I can still remember that opening game where Peter Hendricks went around David Campisi. I can still remember Chester Williams' hat-trick against Samoa, and then obviously the fight against Canada. I think it was in East London. And then that semi-final in Durban against France that went to the last minute and second of that game, and then obviously the drop goal from Joel Stransky in the final. So can clearly remember all those special moments in that World Cup. So it's definitely something special, and I think that's we would like to approach it as something special and something to look forward to.
Yeah, and I suppose the other thing is it's just, I mean, we don't get the opportunity to host big tournaments like this. So I mean, we've got to embrace them. So it's going to be a very special weekend as well. And I suppose it's a testament to as well all the hard work that you guys have done in the Sevens, that it's sold out, and it's going to be a big tournament, and it's going to sort of dominate the next weekend of rugby, at least here in South Africa. So that's obviously a great thing. So just lastly from me, good luck. Obviously chat to you during the tournament, and yeah, it's going to be intense and very quick 3 days. I suppose you got to enjoy while you can.
Yeah, I think, and that's the key. I think that enjoyment is going to be a key for us. So yes, there will be a lot of hard work and pressure as well, but again, let's focus on the enjoyment. Let's go out there and enjoy ourselves on a field. So yeah, looking forward. But thanks a lot as well. Thanks for your support always, and yeah, looking forward to the weekend, and hopefully we can make it a good one for South Africa.
So we might actually see you smile on the side of the field for a change.
We'll have to see.
No, cool, man. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for the chat, and good luck, man. And yeah, and that's going to be an intense week, so enjoy it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, man.